Thank you so very much, Dr. Nora. There was so much information, and I'm really wanting to stay in touch and find out what you find out as you start digging into particularly that sophomore mentoring link. It really seems counterintuitive. So you really got me intrigued here. And everyone, one of the things we really like to do is that we make sure that we link what we're hearing as far as the research to the practice and what's happening in the field. And with that in mind, we've invited the Texas Communities Foundation to join us, and they're going to share how some of Dr. Nora's findings have actually been put into practice. Two of their programs will be highlighted today. The Parent Academy for the Success of Schools with Giovanni Ferrigno and Dann Garcia. Then the Texas Graduate Center with Dr. Mary Alice Reyes. And we have been getting some wonderful questions, and we'd like to encourage you entering them into the pod, and I'm saving them into my clipboard so that we can share and ask our presenters at the end. But right now, let me introduce our first two speakers from the Texas Valley Communities Foundation. Giovanni Ferrigno is the Vice President of the Parental Learning Programs. In 2005, he transferred to the University of to pursue a bachelor's degree in international business. While he was earning his degree, he served as a corporate liaison for the university's Hispanic Engineering, Science, and Technology, HESTEC. His main role was to cultivate partners from the Fortune 500 companies, federal and state and local agencies, media partners, and school districts from across South Texas to engage students in STEM. Then in the summer of 2008, Giovanni left the university to participate in a program on European management topics in Germany. Then upon returning from Germany, Giovanni embarked on a new endeavor with the Texas Valley Communities Foundation, where he contributed to the launch and administration of Engaging Communities for College Readiness, called ENCORE. And he has been instrumental in developing the infrastructure of ENCORE and the development of the Parent Academy for Success of Schools, called PASOS. And we've also got Dann Garcia. He joined the Texas Valley Communities Foundation in 2008 and currently serves as Vice President for Engaging Communities for College Readiness, ENCORE. In this role, he provides expertise and seeks to enhance college readiness in efforts in South Texas. Through his endeavors, he has facilitated training sessions throughout the nation to hundreds of districts and school level administrators and teachers. He collaborates with education, nonprofit organizations, and all of this to ensure that all students graduate high school fully prepared for secondary education. And at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Giovanni and Dann. Are you ready?
Yes, we are. This is Giovanni Ferrigno. Thank you so much for that introduction, Heidi. We definitely see a lot of connections between what we're doing here in South Texas with Dr. Nora's research, particularly in the areas of the pre-college and the environmental pull factors and the college-related factors. Looking at our program, PASO, the Success of Schools, our work with parents really stemmed with our partnership with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where we partner up with them to conduct a research study here in the area that focuses on the perception of college readiness in the Rio Grande Valley. And part of that partnership allowed us to reach out to the community, to grassroots organizations, and conduct additional research and training for a lot of these organizations in order to for them to be able to disseminate college readiness information and raise awareness on the importance of college readiness and career readiness. Stemmed from this research, really, one of the activities that we would do is our family sessions. Part of our research said that parents have most of our parents definitely want what's best for their kids, right? They want their kids to get a higher education. They want them to be successful. However, we found that a lot of our parents don't have here in the area, don't have a formal education. A lot of them didn't finish high school. So when students rely on their parents as to decisions what to do after high school, they really find themselves at a loss. So because of this, we developed Encore family sessions. These family sessions were evening sessions about an hour long, and we will conduct these at different middle schools around across the Rio Grande Valley. And our sessions, we provided food and drinks for the parents, and our topics focused on the importance of post-secondary education and college and career readiness. We particularly talked about Dr. David Conley's Redefining College Readiness. But something that we found after doing these sessions for a number of years, I want to say about 5 years, we always found that even though we would schedule a session for parents for about an hour, and our sessions would run a lot longer because parents needed more information. They would stay behind asking particular specific questions about whether it be financial aid, certain situations that their children were going through at school, and they needed additional help. Because of this, we took this information, this feedback back from these sessions, and we decided that we needed to expand on these sessions, and we targeted to increase the knowledge and the skills that our parents have in order to guide their children through the educational process and eventually get them college and career readiness and ready to enroll a university and complete the university. Now, from there, our PASOS, Parent Academy for the Success of School, is where we stemmed from. PASOS is essentially a series of 10 weekly workshops. Each workshop is about 3 hours long, and they contain specific knowledge and strategies that impact their children in the educational development and the overall well-being of the family, and that's a very important topic. Our sessions, I'm going to actually let Dan pass it over to Dan Garcia and the workshops that we conduct.
Hello, everybody, and thank you, Giovanni. Well, like Giovanni said, our PASOS workshops are weekly or bi-weekly sessions, but they consist of 10 workshops. Review of those workshops right now. They are 3 hours long, and they're not just presentations. They're very interactive, dynamic discussions and facilitated strategies with parents. The idea is to provide parents with content, knowledge, and skills, and then allow them time to practice both in the workshops and at home as we assign parents homework. We're also, our overarching goal, though, is to empower parents to become more engaged. Workshop 1, and by the way, when we first rolled out the PASOS program over 18 months ago, we began with 6 workshops, and again, our parents were hungry for more information and wanting to learn more. So based on the information that we gathered from them, we expanded the program into 10 workshops and to 3 hours versus 2 hours, which is what we began with. One is all about creating a healthy learning environment at home. That workshop begins with giving parents an overview of research in parental engagement and how critical their involvement is in their kids' education. Then expands into vision setting and goal setting, not only for themselves but for their families. And so parents in this workshop create vision boards, learn how to write a vision statement for their family, and actually present that to their family and fine-tune it along with their help. Funny story here with this one workshop, we had one of the assignments that they're given is to go home and start scheduling regular home family meetings their families. And one mom came back at the very beginning of the workshop and said, I don't think this is going to work in my home. My kids have so many different things going on, and they never want to sit still and come together and even eat dinner together, much less have a family meeting. Well, she came back to us at the next workshop and was amazed at the transformation that had taken place, because her oldest, who was involved in a variety of things, asked her, Mom, if we're going to have our family meeting, can we have it earlier today, because I have a lot of things going on. So already beginning to establish those structures in their home. Workshop 2 is all about nurturing a healthy, successful. Here we make connections with healthy lifestyle, nutrition, and exercise, and how that affects student achievement. Workshop 3 is all about a parent's guide to positive behavior management. Here parents get an overview of what they can do to positively impact their child's and really guide their child's behavior, not just at home but in school as well. They learn about different reinforcers that will help reinforce positive behavior in their children. Workshop 4 is all about getting involved in their district. So depending on which particular district we partner with in this moment, parents get an overview of what's available out there in their district. What are different PTO organizations they can be involved in, opportunities, and different types of programs that are offered to their students as well. Workshop 5 is all about factors affecting student success, from anywhere from bullying to the internet, to parents' communication aspects at home. Parents learn what they can do to help combat these and build resiliency in their children. Workshop 6 is about building a strong parent-teacher relationship. One of the key findings that we found in our initial research was that parents felt intimidated to visit teachers and to visit schools. And so to help make parents feel more comfortable, we provide strategies and actually help them establish a plan of action to meet with teachers in a positive manner. Workshop 7 is all about college and career readiness. Creating a college-going culture at home has always been one of the foundations that we've concentrated on at Encore. And in fact, looking at Dr. Nora's research, this really helps students focus on their educational aspirations as well, as parents begin to get an overview and a sense of what their role is in helping prepare their children for post-secondary education. Workshop 8 is all about House Bill 5. Now, for those of you outside of Texas, House Bill 5 is new legislation that went into effect last school year that really has a variety of different things with state assessment testing, but also establishes career pathways for students. And so at the 9th grade level, students need to identify a career path, and there's 5 different endorsement pathways that they can select. This basically gives parents, it's very new to them in our area. We need to provide that overview and give them that idea. Workshop 9, it's all about financial literacy. Now, in this particular workshop, we partner with local financial organizations. In this picture that you see right here, this is one of our local partners, International Bank. We had a local bank came in and actually educated parents on financial literacy. Now, as you can see from all the photos in our workshops, and I'm going to actually kind of backtrack just so you can see that parents here are engaging, they're communicating with each other, they're presenting their findings. It's not just a sit-down presentation that they listen to from us. It all ends with workshop 10, and we call that community scope. What community scope is, it's an opportunity for parents to engage with local community organizations throughout the entire experience. We're covering different educational opportunities and extracurricular their kids can be involved in. Community Scope brings it all together by bringing local nonprofit organizations and the school district and even local businesses to present to these parents and have a very private community fair specifically for these families that we serve. Upon completion of the 10 workshops, we have a graduation ceremony in which all participating parents go through. As you can see in the photos, it's a full cap and gown ceremony, Victorian, and on the picture on the far left-hand side at the Mercedes ISD 2013 graduation, you see 2 graduates up on stage. All of our PASOS workshops are conducted in both English and Spanish, and so each of those cohort groups elect a valedictorian to represent their group. That valedictorian gives his or her speech at the graduation ceremony explaining all of the benefits of attending the program and everything that they've learned and how it's transformed their family. And of course, graduation ceremony wouldn't be complete without the tossing of the caps at the end of graduation. So it's a very exciting moment for these parents, as most of them, like Giovanni said, don't have a formal education and never had an opportunity to graduate. This gives them an opportunity to experience that. It gives their children an opportunity to see their parents in this experience and see them in this light, and motivates them to continue education as well. We've had numerous parents that come through the program that say that they're going to enroll in GED programs to get their now, all of this kind of culminates as part of our Pasos Parent Engagement College Readiness model. We have been, like I said, at the foundation of College Readiness since 2008, and we wanted to make sure that we ensure that parents not only receive content knowledge in terms of learning about college readiness and what it actually takes to graduate their kids at high levels and help their kids succeed, but also providing them a variety of strategies that they can implement at home. And so, like I said before, every Pasos workshop that parents attend, they walk away with a toolkit and resource guides full of strategies that they can implement at home immediately. We also focus on family wellness, not just helping parents see the benefit of their involvement, but overall helping the family completely transform. And Giovanni will cover some of the wellness connections in a bit. And finally, the levels of involvement. You know, we want parents not only to feel that they must be involved in their homes, but also in their schools and in the communities that they live in. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Giovanni.
Sure, and Dann was going over the Pasos Parent Engagement College Readiness model. We look at 3 different national sources that we align or program with that focuses on parental involvement and family wellness. Looking at the National Network for Partnership Schools at Johns Hopkins University, Dr. Joyce Epstein has a framework for involvement which focuses on parenting, communication, volunteering, learning at home, decision-making, and collaborating with the community, and how Dann, just like our workshops, they all align very well with all of these types of involvement. In regards to the family wellness, we found the University of California, Davis, they have 8 dimensions of wellness and how they define it, which we found is very important. These 8 dimensions, we need to understand that in order for, there's different factors, different dimensions that cover wellness and what it means to be well. You know, talking about emotional wellness, occupational wellness, environmental, physical, intellectual, social, financial wellness, spiritual wellness. All of these play a role in how the student performs at school. If a family is deficient in one of these areas, if the stress is coming from the home, that's going to translate into perhaps it's going to translate negatively onto the student. And of course, we couldn't do this work alone, and we have some great partnerships that have helped us in not only research, and like we have the Harvard Family Research Project that is a great resource as far as looking at what is the national, what is going on at a national level. We also have our corporate partners that really help us in facilitate these sessions, such as CPNL, Wells Fargo, State Farm, and International Bank have helped us in conducting these sessions. And below on the slide, you'll see 5 districts that we have implemented PASO so far in the past 18 months. And I want to say in the past 18 months, we've probably graduated right around 500 parents from this program. And with that culminates our program. I'm going to pass it on to the Texas Graduate Center, Dr. Mary Alice Reyes.
Well, I'm going to jump in real quick and say that this is really exciting that you've worked with you've graduated over 500 parents That is truly exciting, and we're getting a lot of questions, which is great. And so now we're going to hear from Dr. Mary Alice Reyes, and she's the Executive Director of the Texas Graduate Center. And she brings us 40 years of experience in public education and educational administration. She's a principal, a director of elementary education, and a superintendent of schools. In addition, as the director of the Gear Up project, she oversees the implementation of the largest Gear Up project in the nation, serving over 7,000 students in South Texas. She also served as the regional administrator for teaching and mentoring communities. Dr. Reyes holds a doctorate degree in educational leadership, and her research emphasis centers on school culture, student achievement, and family engagement. And she has agreed to share with us what they are doing with the Texas Graduate Center. And I find that a very exciting project. Dr. Reyes?
Thank you, Heidi. Good afternoon, everyone. Maybe I shouldn't have told Heidi how many years of experience I had. You probably already have sort of dated me there. But thank you so much, and thank you to REL Southwest for this invitation to share our programs. And we really feel privileged to also share the stage with Dr. Nora and his interesting and insightful research. Just as the Parent Academy for Success of Schools focuses on building the capacity of parents to help their children succeed in post-secondary education, my presentation focuses on a program developed by the Texas Graduate Center that builds the capacity of teachers to deliver rigorous curriculum in high school and better prepare our students to succeed in college. In this regard, my presentation relates to Dr. Nora's research in the pre-college academic preparation and in mathematics in particular. The Texas Graduate Center was created in 2012 as an initiative of the Texas Valley Communities Foundation. The foundation and the center are located in Mercedes, Texas, in the Rio Grande Valley of South Texas, very close to the Mexican border. The mission of our foundation is to empower and transform the community through education and innovation. And in keeping with this mission, we work closely with area school districts to improve educational opportunities for our students, especially given the challenges that we face in the Rio Grande Valley. As you can see, for every 10 students that enter the 9th grade, 6 graduate from high school, only 3 go to college, and only 1 attains a college degree. One can understand why our region has the lowest level of educational attainment in the state and the nation, with 25% of adults 25 and older having less than a 9th grade education, as compared to 10% and 6% in the state and the nation, respectively. As a foundation, we're committed to working with our area school districts to make an impact on the educational needs of our community. And as a result, we started looking at barriers to college attainment. And we narrowed our focus on college algebra as a critical gatekeeper to college completion. We looked at the college algebra passing rates at our local South Texas College and University of Texas Pan American. Not surprisingly, we found that the higher the level of math taken in high school, the higher the passing rate in college algebra at both institutions, with AP Calculus rendering the highest level of success. We also learned students that took rigorous math courses in high school were not only more likely to graduate from high school, but 50% more likely to persist in college, sufficient to complete an associate degree or higher in 6 years. So we determined that one way to impact our college attainment levels was by increasing the number of students taking more rigorous math courses in high school and preparing them for future success in college algebra. In order to do this, we needed teachers prepared to teach these courses and credentialed by our community colleges and universities as adjunct faculty to teach dual enrollment courses in particular. This led us to look at the number of teachers with master's degrees specifically in mathematics. A survey of the math teachers in our region revealed that only 19% held a master's degree in mathematics, and of those with a bachelor's degree, 55% majored in mathematics, but interestingly, 42% had an education major. 72% of the teachers with bachelor's degrees indicated that they had never taken a graduate course in mathematics. In order to build the capacity for school districts to offer more rigorous courses and increase the number of students enrolled, we created the Math Teach Collaborative in partnership with the university, the Region 1 Gear Up program, and our area school districts. Harvard University offers a Master of Liberal Arts in Mathematics for teaching through the Harvard Extension School. The program is a 3-year blended program in that it's offered through distance at the Texas Graduate Center and requires an on-site residency during the summer session. The program is focused on rigorous math content, but also on pedagogy that is addressed at graduate seminars held each semester. I'd like to give a shout out to Dr. Andrew Engelward, the director of the Math for Teaching program at Harvard. Dr. Engelward has been instrumental in building and supporting this collaborative from its inception. So we thank him for all of his support. This is our teachers, and Cohort 1 was formed in 2013, and they completed their program this summer. They'll participate in their commencement ceremony at Harvard in May of 2016. Since then, we have formed cohorts 2 and 3 and are in the process of recruiting and selecting cohort 4 this fall. There are currently 24 teachers in our program. Partners, we currently have 12 school districts and the Region 1 Gear Up program in the Math Teach Collaborative. To fulfill our goal of increasing the number of students taking rigorous math courses in high school, these school districts commit to increasing their dual enrollment options and to assigning the teachers completing their master's program into these courses once credentialed as adjunct faculty. The teachers commit to respective districts for at least 3 years after they complete their degree. When a school district joins the Math Teach Collaborative, they not only support their teacher or teachers in the master's program, but they also receive additional capacity building benefits at no additional cost to the district. In addition to master teacher development, workshops in mathematics are held at our regional service center faculty throughout the year. Member school districts can send as many teachers as they wish to the training. In addition, Harvard faculty also provides leadership training for district leadership teams, and superintendents and district administrators are invited to participate in leadership institutes held during the summer at Harvard. Teachers participating in the master's program provide sessions for students that we call where they reinforce math concepts and provide college and career information. In addition, we sponsor student university tours of colleges and universities. This summer, we took 46 students to visit Harvard, Brown, MIT, and Boston universities. And finally, the district's parents benefit through parent sessions provided by the Harvard teachers in which they share their experience at Harvard to encourage parents to allow their children to explore all possible options when selecting their college of choice. Through all of these activities, we intend to extend the Harvard experience, if you will, beyond just the teachers in the master's program. The primary role of the Texas Graduate Center is to support and facilitate the success of the teachers in the program and to coordinate all capacity building activities. I conclude my presentation with a picture of our students who attended the university tour this summer. It was an amazing experience for them and for us. We thank you so much, and we thank you for your attention, and again to the REL Southwest for this invitation.
Thank you. We really appreciate all of the presentations. And Dr. Reyes, Dini, one of our participants, said that they just assume you started your work at the age of 2.
How sweet. Thank you so much for that.